Okay, second video about time travel. So this one is going to be about what kind of traversals are possible. Well, first, again, you need to understand that when you make a traversal, is you switching between perceiving one set of fundamental dimensions, reflecting on one set of fundamental dimensions, one collection of elements in the physical substrate of reality to another set. That's that's change. That's all changes, including the changes that you think are according to the laws of nature, are just that. That's the only kind of change that is possible. That is what the theory calls metatemporal. Why metatemporal? Because at any moment, you can, if you are in that moment, perceiving that moment, what you perceive is a reality that is consistent with a past that is different and is unique to that moment. And you can extrapolate that past. So every time you make any change, it's as if you're jumping between timelines. Now, this might seem strange. How can that be? Like, we are usually just, according to, we believe we live in a reality where we're on one timeline. Like, if you think physics says that you're always on one timeline, then time travel is maybe you going to a different timeline. That's wrong. That's not what physics says. Physics shows that if you take, for example, the double slit experiment, where you read the measurement of the delay from the experiment, you can retroactively change what the past was. This basically means that every choice is suspect to creating a non-linear progression from the past, meaning that it's not the laws of nature that propelled you to the moment you are in. It is a breach of the laws of nature. Yes, it's insignificant compared to like things that you usually measure, like the movement of objects that you can like large enough to mobilize you and stuff like that. But still, the physics show that that's not what's happening. What's happening is that every progression in a long time is non continuous. It's all interrupted. It's singularity is all the way down. So all changes are metatemporal. All progression along time are metatemporal. What the extent of it is that you have the capacity to switch from whatever objective subset you're reflecting on now to any other, insofar as it's that other set of elements in this objective substrate of reality that you're reflecting on make it possible for you to make further changes, and therefore to be in it, to continue existing in it to the next moment. If that's possible, then your experience should be able to drift into it. And what you make of that moment, that thing, well, that's going to be up to you. Whether you think that's the present, whether you think that's the future, whether you think that's the past, whether you think that's an alternate future, whether you think that's an alternate present, whether you think it's an alternate past, and everything in between. That's for experience to interpret. There is no time. I said before, there is no time. So what it is, what you make of it, that's your business. And you can also just as well go into a configuration, like perceive the same substrate as you perceived before. There's no problem in looping. There's no problem in, according to the theory, there's no problem in that your next moment won't be as you. There's no problem that your next moment will be as your grandfather, and the moment after that you will be perceiving the experience of your grandchild, and back again. There is no problem whether that actually happens. Usually no, because the experience is making the choice, and it's making the choice based on what the reflection looks like. The reflection of its reflection on the objective substrate suggests what it should what should be its possible moves and picks from them usually. But say when you lose consciousness, or before you were born or after you die, that's if you don't have nothing to guide you, then you have nothing to guide you. Everything's possible. Now, something to note: you're not taking with you, when you're making those experiential leaps, when you're making metatemporal changes, you're not necessarily taking with you anything of your body. You're starting with like memories, and the next point you are in, you don't have those memories necessarily. And you won't remember anything of your prior state. So you could go from being you to being your grandfather, and you won't remember that you ever was you, because part of the body, part of the reality you reflect on is those memories. And when you're reflecting on something else, those memories are gone. There's something that's called, I call the experiential trails, which is like the origin and the destination of your experiential leap. You perceive them together, so you can still perceive your past as you move to the future, as through the present. But that's just a fleeting thing. It doesn't persist for the next experiential movement, and that experiential movement is the next moment in time, like as small and tiny as it is. So it's not really memory, it's just, it has some relevance. It is the sensation you carry with you as you make that leap, whether that's like if you feel happy, if you feel sadness, if you feel redness, doesn't matter. So you can perceive, you can feel it as you move to the next moment, but that's it, not memory. So all these traversals are possible, technically, but it's only you that traverses. When you go to a different reality, whether you can intersect with it, that's fine. But does it allow other experiential agents to intersect with it? So this is where it gets tricky, and I will follow that discuss this in the next video. But the answer is not always, and it's a bit of an uncharted territory. But generally, you can leap into whatever reality, but you will. There are many cases where you will be the only experiential agent there, and you will find it not compelling enough to stay, and not restrictive enough to force you to stay. So you would just bounce through it. So the bottom line is that if you were thinking about time travel as a way to change the past, as a way to see the future, as a way to live a different present, then that's definitely possible according to the theory. But that's just experientially possible. Like, you can perceive what you think is now as the future. You can perceive what you think is now a different present. You can even perceive what you think is the past. It's not really the past. It's not really the present. It's not really the future. It's not a parallel present, alternate present. It's always just the present.